Books of Doom is the most definitive Doctor Doom origin Marvel has ever done. And looking back at all our Doom coverage, I realized something. We talk about Doom like he's just Marvel's coolest armored villain, but we rarely slow down and look at the full chain of moments that actually made him Doom. Not a lab accident happened and he got mad. This story is about a kid who gets hit with tragedy so early and so consistently that by the time he grows up, the only way he can survive is by turning himself into a machine. It starts with Cynthia von Doom, Victor's mother, a Romani witch in Latveria who makes the classic mistake of dealing with Mephisto. She wants power because their people are being hunted and abused by the Baron's soldiers. And she believes if she can get strong enough, she can protect them. And for a moment, it works. The soldiers fall. The threat backs off. But the price is cruel in a way that feels biblical. Innocent children die as payment for every life Cynthia takes. So, when the dust clears, the tribe doesn't look at Victor like a child who needs love. They look at him like the residue of a demonic deal, like he's cursed. And here's the first moment that tells you Doom doesn't begin later. Doom is already in there. Because Victor doesn't react like a normal kid would. He doesn't plead, he doesn't break down, he warns them. He basically tells them that if they cast him out, they'll regret it for the rest of their lives. Because one day, he'll become something that can punish the world. That's the first tell. Victor isn't learning arrogance, he's revealing it. Then the second tragedy hits. Werner von Doom, Victor's father, gets dragged into the Baron's world when the Baron's wife is dying. Werner is a doctor, but he can't save her. And the Baron decides that means Werner deserves to die. So Werner runs. He takes Victor into the mountains, trying to outrun soldiers with nothing but a coat and a child. And this is the moment that brands Victor's brain forever. Werner doesn't die in a heroic blaze. He dies like a parent. He gives Victor warmth. He holds him. He uses his own body as shelter. And by morning, Victor wakes up trapped in his father's arms, realizing Werner froze to death holding him close. That's not just trauma. That is the creation of Doom's core belief. The world is cold. The world takes what you love, and the only defense is power. Not comfort, not community, power. From there, Victor grows up with two obsessions welded into his ribs. One is vengeance against the forces that persecuted his family. The other is bigger, Cynthia's soul. Because Victor doesn't process his mother being in hell like it's a tragedy, he has to accept. He processes it like a problem he will solve. If his mother is trapped, then he will go to hell and take her back. That becomes his religion. Science becomes his weapon. Magic becomes his key. And he starts combining them because he refuses to be limited by one system. Then the world gives him the opportunity that turns him from a local terror into a global level threat. America. Victor is recruited out of Latveria and brought to State University. And this is where the Doom and Reed Richards rivalry really begins. And what's fascinating is how Books of Doom frames it. Reed isn't portrayed as some cartoon villain wrecking Victor's life. Reed is an irritant, a challenge, the one person who won't bow to Victor's myth. Victor is doing government work, building technology, taking funding, playing the role of the brilliant foreign prodigy, but none of that is his real goal. His real goal is a machine meant to reach beyond reality and contact his mother's soul in hell. And in a lot of retellings, you get the lab accident and that's it. In this one, the machine touches something. Victor sees another realm. He hears Cynthia. For a split second, it feels like the impossible is about to become real. And then the explosion happens. Victor is scarred. His work is destroyed. His future collapses in one flash. And here's the key detail. Doom's breaking point isn't the scar, it's the failure. Doom cannot accept that he wasn't ready. Doom cannot accept that his reach exceeded his grasp. So he rewrites reality in his head. He convinces himself that Reed Richards sabotaged him, because admitting I failed is a kind of death for Victor. That's why he leaves America, not because he's misunderstood, because he can't stand the shame of limitation. And before he leaves, he burns the bridge behind him. He destroys what he built, wipes out what the government funded, and leaves them with nothing, because Doom doesn't allow other people to own pieces of him. Then, Books of Doom gives you the part most origin stories skip, the missing years. Victor wanders Europe with bandages like a ghost of himself. He's depressed, hollowed out, still breathing, but not really living. The KGB tries to recruit him, tries to take him, and even in this broken state, Victor reminds them he is not prey. He's still Victor Von Doom, he's still dangerous. And then Valeria returns. This is the tragedy layer, because Valeria represents the last thread of Victor's humanity. She speaks to him like he's a man, not a myth, and for the first time since the explosion, the nightmares stop. Not because Victor healed, because Victor remembered what it feels like to be human. But destiny doesn't knock like an army. It shows up disguised as someone Victor ignored, a beggar, a figure outside his door. And when Valeria is attacked, it's magic that saves her, a sign, a door opening. And this is one of the most important choices Victor ever makes. He could choose love, he could choose Valeria, and rebuild a human version of himself. But Doom doesn't want to rebuild. Doom wants control. So he leaves. He chooses the path that erases the last softness inside him. That takes us to Tibet. Victor nearly dies in the mountains, bleeds out into the snow, and wakes up saved by monks who have spent centuries blending science and magic like it's one language. Victor stays with them for 5 years, mastering everything, pushing past their limits until they call him master. And then he does something that is so Doom, it's almost insane. He builds a device to see the outside world, to measure it, to catch up, to make sure nothing is hidden from him again. And on that screen, he sees Reed Richards, Reed moving forward, Reed becoming celebrated, Reed approaching the life Victor believes should have been his. And that's when Doom's hatred hardens into something permanent. Doom needs an external villain, because if he admits the villain is himself, he collapses. So, in Doom's mind, it becomes simple. Reed is the reason. Reed is the infection. Reed is the hand that pushed him off the path. So Victor creates the armor, not just for power, not just for intimidation. He creates armor as a psychological coffin, a second skin designed to shut out weakness, shut out fear, shut out Mephisto's touch in his dreams, and shut out the part of Victor that can still feel. And then he declares the line that defines the rest of his existence. Victor Von Doom is gone. From this moment on, there is only Dr. Doom. And once Doom returns to Latveria, the story stops being about survival and becomes about conquest. He starts a revolution, but not like a normal rebel leader. He does it like a strategist. He frees prisoners to spread his name. He gathers loyalists like Boris. He uses technology, fear, and hope like weapons. He makes people believe he's not just fighting for them. He is them. Their suffering given a face. Their rage given direction. And that's why the king loses before the final battle even begins. When Doom marches to the capital, both sides are ready. The king's army is in formation. The moment is set. And then the king's men refuse to fight. They step aside. They clear a path. They choose Doom. That surrender is the real coronation. Not the kill, the choice. Doom enters the city, and the last piece of the old world collapses. He flies into the church, finds the king, and strangles him to death. No mercy, no speech, just finality. And then the line that turns it into a nightmare fairy tale. The king is dead. Long live Von Doom. By the fall of that year, Victor is monarch of Latveria. And here's the twist that makes Doom terrifying. He brings peace. Doom isn't chaos like Joker. Doom is order. Doom is prosperity with a price. But Doom still can't stop digging into hell. He makes a bargain with Mephisto that feels like cruelty disguised as a deal. Doom can fight for his mother's freedom, but every time he fails, the people of Latveria will hate him more and more. And that hits Doom in the exact place Mephisto knows is soft. Because Doom's greatest fear isn't death, it's being seen as weak. It's being rejected the way he was rejected as a child. So Doom becomes king, builds a peaceful nation, and chains himself to a yearly cycle of torment, just to reclaim the one thing he cannot let go of: his mother's soul. That's why Books of Doom works. Doom isn't just a villain who wants power. Doom is a man trying to outmuscle the universe itself, trying to beat grief, trying to beat hell, trying to beat the idea that some things can't be undone. And with Robert Downey Jr. set to play Victor Von Doom in Avengers Doomsday, this origin is about to matter to way more people than it ever has. So here's the real question. Was Doom always destined to become a tyrant? Or did the world build Doom one tragedy at a time until the only thing left was a mask?